Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Beth, here to help you fulfill your potential in meditation. As most of you know, I don't have just one method that I teach to everybody, like one size fits all. Instead, I much prefer to teach people one-on-one. And the reason is that you're all different. So please use these videos as a guideline. And if there's anything that isn't quite working for you or anything that doesn't quite fit, then be in touch and I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you one-on-one. Today's video is about the third link of dependent origination. In Pali, we call this vinnana, pacaya, namarupa. So, what does that mean? Well, vinnana is consciousness, pacaya is the cause or condition, and namarupa is materiality and mentality. So we have consciousness as the cause or condition for materiality and mentality. Now there are two very different ways that we can look at this link of dependent origination depending on how we define consciousness. So let's take those one at a time. The first way that we can look at this link of dependent origination is by defining consciousness as the consciousness in the abhisankara. Now if you're not already familiar with the abhisankara, I've made a separate video about that, so I'd suggest that you go away and watch that one first. Now, when we take consciousness here as consciousness in the abhisankara, then we have that consciousness in the abhisankara as the productive cause for materiality and mentality in the next life. So if we're looking at consciousness in the abhisankara from our first past life, it will be producing materiality and mentality in this life. So which materiality and mentality does it produce? Well, we already know that the abhisankara is the productive cause for the rebirth linking consciousness, the bhavanga consciousness, and the death consciousness, as well as some types of consciousness that arise within a mental process. And we know this from when we looked at the previous link of dependent origination, when we had sankhara, pacaya, vinnanam, the abhisankara as the productive cause for consciousness. So now we have the consciousness in the abhisankara as the productive cause for the rebirth linking, bhavanga and death consciousness in this life, as well as some types of consciousness that arise within a mental process. We also have the consciousness in the abhisankara as the productive cause for karma-born materiality within this life. Now I've made separate videos on what those types of karma-born materiality are, and I won't go into too much detail here, but just a quick reminder that the karma-born materiality is things like the materiality in the eye that allows us to see, the materiality in the ear that allows us to hear. And so we have as the productive cause for those things the abhisankara from the past life. In other words, the reason that we can see and hear, smell, taste, feel with the body in this life is because of that action that we did in the past life. So when we're discerning this way of seeing this link of dependent origination, we want to find the consciousness in that abhisankara, and we want to see if we can discern a productive cause between that consciousness and the different types of materiality and mentality within this life. It's a productive cause. That abhisankara is literally producing the rebirth linking consciousness, bhavanga consciousness, death consciousness, and the different types of karma-born materiality. So what about the second way of seeing this link of dependent origination? As I said, it depends on how we define consciousness. So in the second case, we define consciousness as the consciousness within this life. So we could take any moment of consciousness within this life. It could be the rebirth linking consciousness, or it could be a type of consciousness that is arising now. And we can see that that consciousness is the cause for the other types of mentality that arise within the same moment. In other words, the other mental factors that arise within the same moment. Now this type of cause isn't a productive cause. That consciousness doesn't produce the other mental factors in the same moment. Instead, it's what we call a sahajata cause. Sahajata means born at the same time as. It means when one thing is born, the other things must be born at the same time. So because the consciousness has arisen, the other mental factors must arise together in the same moment. And so we can see that type of cause, the consciousness as the cause for other types of mentality in the same moment, in every conscious moment of this life. We can also see consciousness in this life as the productive cause for mind-born materiality in the same moment. So almost every conscious moment throughout this life is producing mind-born materiality throughout the body. I've made a separate video about that mind-born materiality too, so I'll put the link below so you can review that if you don't have it clear. So when we define consciousness as consciousness in this life, we have it as the sahajata cause, the born at the same time cause, for the mental factors in the same moment, and we have it as the productive cause for mind-born materiality throughout the body. So those are the two ways of looking at vinnana, pacaya, namarupa, consciousness as the cause for materiality and mentality. If there's anything that isn't clear to you, then please be in touch with me. I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you one-on-one. But now is the time to get off of those screens, get onto the cushions and actually do the practice. It's a technical practice, but it is fascinating. So let's not waste time. As most of you know, I do all of my work on a donation basis, so I encourage you to support me either through Patreon or through my website so that I can continue to make these videos. Thank you so much for your support. Wishing you the best with your meditation.